comes on the back of history. And so what a delight to be part of a recording of a remarkable history. 60 years, 60 voices. I've had good fortune because I've been around through almost all of that history. And I've had the privilege of being active most of it. Let me perhaps begin by paying tribute to journalists in Nigeria. I think that we haven't written enough or said enough about the sacrifices made by journalists in the building of this nation. Even through the colonial struggle, many of our nationalists were journalists. They include the string of the Jack Mondays, of course, Chibalo himself, even, all, Chibanao, these are journalists. And I think that journalism will reclaim its place. We remember Dele Giwa today. Interestingly, I met Dele Giwa not in Nigeria. I went somewhere in 1979, I think, in New York. And Dele Giwa had just read something a couple of news feature articles, as we used to call them in those days, that are written in one of the most respected newspapers in America at the time, the Christian Science Monitor. And he was excited to see me. He said, you wrote all those things? And I kind of laughed because I looked small in those days. But to think that 40-something years more since that, and I saw how our country reacted to the way that he was murdered. But I think that my main comments today belong to domain of the moment, young people, the students' movement in Nigeria. A couple of years ago, short years ago, I came to somewhere not too far from here to visit with General Lani Akinrinade. Macron had just been elected president of France. He was 39 years old at the time. And young people in Nigeria were, complaining that, they don't get a chance. Look at a 39-year-old becoming president of France, Nigeria, they're shut out and all of that. So, as I entered, General Akinrinade said, we all have a share in the blame for why leadership is poor in Nigeria. He said, if you check all these 20-something, 30-something year olds who are popping up and taking over across Europe, they started out in the student union movement. They were groomed as teenagers in the student union movement. But we, in our country, we soldiers, politicians, we killed the student union movement and denied the next generation a chance to be leaders. It was a remarkable conclusion. Because most of us, I look at those who are here, cut our teeth in the student union movement. I have told many times the story of my 18th birthday, which I did not remember. And why did I not remember my 18th birthday? There was a tradition of protesting wrong in this country. A student at the University of Ibadan, Kule Adepeju, had been killed by a police bullet. And every year, the anniversary of that, students were up in arms around the country. By January of 1974, every university in Nigeria has been shut down as a result of the Peju protests, except the one that I was in, the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Most of us who remember those days will remember there were really 5 universities in the country. UNIBEN was still preparing, was still Midwest Institute of Technology. So ABU was shot, IFE was shot, Lagos was shot, Ibadan was shot, University of Nigeria. Some of us said, this cannot happen. We must do something about what I'm thinking. We tried to remove the student union leadership. They bounced us. So we created our own student union. Then we started the Students Democratic Society, SDS. And our leader was Basi Eko Basi. We remember Basi? So we went serious planning on the 4th and 5th of February. And on the 6th of February at 5 a.m. we all gathered. We all, we were at something of us or something. We all gathered in black and decided to start marching around the campus, singing. Some students who had lost 3 years during the Civil War, who were still there, who opened their window. Stupid boys, go and sleep. But we insisted and we continued to march. Our aim was to go to the gates, set some fire and all of that, and let the world know that there are students here who disagree with what is going on. And then there was one professional undergraduate at that time in Nigeria. I think that was his 13th year as an undergraduate. Yeah, he did ABU, moved to UI. His name was Pini, Chairman P. Chairman P suddenly got up from his room, saw what we were doing, put on his shokoto and ran. Yes, boys, let's move. Chairman P hijacked our protest. We were going to the gate. He said, no, let's go to the VC's house. VC's house. What has the VC got to do with this? So, as we showed up in front of Professor Conviye's house, Phoenix said we should wait. Let him now consult with the VC. While we were waiting, the VC's English wife came out and offered us tea. Anyway, we eventually secured Professor Conviye's agreement that we should have a campus-wide rally. Everybody should get together. So, the rally was scheduled for 7 p.m. at the Macri Echo Refectory Hall. So, during the day, from there, we're going from door to door, room to room, trying to mobilize students about why we must do this. Then we finally gathered around 7 p.m. About 8 something, after 8, Pinnick got up to speak. He said, today, the 6th of February, 1974, will be remembered as the day when the people in these parts who were physically demobilized after the war were finally mentally demobilized. Everybody, and I said, wait a minute, today's my birthday. Until 20 something, whatever it was that day, I didn't remember it was my 18th birthday. Now, I tell this story to talk about the passion. And why is this passion important in our looking at young people? You know the saying that if at 18 you are not a Marxist, something is wrong with your heart. But if at 40 you are still a Marxist, something is wrong with your head.
I protest.
Are you still a Marxist? But I tell you, there was a famous Time magazine cover story during the protests in Europe, 1968, 69. My days in Loyola College in Ibadan. I used to read Time magazine cover to cover from home to and there's a particular episode of Time Magazine that I never forget. I was still in Louisville, only from 3 or something. He goes, Marx is dead. Christ is dead. And I am not feeling too well myself. This essentially spoke to the death of ideology in the world. And everybody was tired, everybody was exhausted. And so, the point remains that the young people are the ones who make change happen in most societies. Why is this so? A variety of reasons. First of all, the passion and the idealism of youth is critical for human progress. Second, as young people, they typically, you take out the Femi Falan or one or two people, but as young people, they don't have the fear of school fees to pay. When you are 54 and you are thinking of the children's school fees in a few weeks, it's harder to make a decision about what else than when you are 18 and there is nobody working. But what it means is that we must then develop strategies that can move us from 18-year-olds who are ready to do Aluta quickly to mature revolutionaries who can change the society with careful planning. I set up in 2004 the Center for Values in Leadership for a very simple reason. I believe that every generation has a duty to make their shoulders available for the next generation to stand up so they can see tomorrow more clearly. And that was part of our effort to groom the next generation in leadership. One of the tragedies of the Nigerian condition is that we've turned the whole idea of democracy upside down. Democracy is supposed to be people holding governments accountable. If you want to mature into the boardroom and use the language of corporate governance, when the owners of the business find agents to execute for them, they must have instruments for holding those agents accountable for the assignments they've sent them on. It's only in the kind of democracy we run here that people fear government rather than government fearing the people. Until we can make governments fear the people, we don't have a democracy. The people must set course. And this is why what we need is to build citizenship, citizens. People who have a passion for a shared humanity. As the Greeks used to say, at the bottom of society's ladder are idiots. Idiots are just people who care just about themselves. At the next level, we have tribalists. People who care about people who share certain affinity, blood or something, or language. And with tribalists, everybody who does not share in that their parochial base is an enemy. So tribal wars are permanent. But if they move over and become citizens, a shared humanity drives them to do things that advance the common good of all. This is why the NSAS protests, for me, marked the arrival of citizenship in Nigeria. I was all dressed up with my NSAS t-shirt. And as it happens, from my house you can literally see the toll gate. If you know my house, you know, and I have a deck at the top. From just from my deck, we just be looking at the toll gate. And I was up there that evening. And I heard the siren. He was just coming. I said, who is this egocentric maniac who is blowing siren on this day when the streets are deserted? And the sirens were coming up Ozumba Bari, we are coming. And then suddenly, gunfire exploded. I said, no, they can't be shooting the students. They can't. I grabbed my phone, tried to call the governor. I told my wife to start calling the deputy governor. Immediately, I called the channels. I said, John, you know they're shooting these kids? I And John called the station and they called me and I went immediately live. We owe a great tribute to smart youth of this country that organized last year. They proved that citizenship can come to this land. I was sad though that they stopped. The killing was terrible, but they could have continued on social media and run characters out of town. What we need to do is learn to organize. And what we must do now is convert all these young people to community organizers. And they say, you need 10 years to plan. This thing here is so fragile, you can remove them in 6 months. 6 months you can remove this guy. Everybody in Nigeria is fed up. Just imagine that on social media, look at the statistics. How many young people are there in this country? How many people are voting in this country? You just take 40% of young people who are eligible to vote and organize the way the youth of Kano organized to get Shekarau, a civil servant who was embarrassed by the serving governor, had no naira in his pocket, and in a few months build up the momentum such that they could police all the materials coming from INEC, ensure that voting took place, and even though his party didn't want him and the ruling party did not want the result to come out, there was no choice because the youth of Kano said no way, and he beat the incumbent with 400,000 votes. If the youth of Nigeria organize, they can make this current order ancient history very easily. I want to challenge you all to try and do that. Thank you.